I could see him struggling. He was in two minds whether he was going to tell me what the title was. I went, well, what is it? He said, Clockwork Orange. Somebody asked me how I got to be cast, and I went, oh, I think he saw If. Stanley looked at his wife and said, we found our Alex.
Wow.
I read it again, and I knew that it was one of the great parts. Let's play the music and I'll see. And there was a sort of an intensity, and he was laughing so hard. He went, oh, that's it, that's great.
You made the right decision because you're still here.
I'm reading the New York Times best and worst lists. I have one film on each.
Malcolm McDowell, thank you so much. You honor me by being here. So I'm going to go out on a limb, but you tell me if I'm wrong. You've talked about Clockwork Orange about 100 times more than you've ever talked about the movie If. Is that close, or you want to give me a better ratio?
Well, Clockwork is the jewel in the crown, as they say. It's an amazing movie. And yes, I've talked about it ad nauseum. And so what I try and do occasionally now is zen myself back to sort of arriving in the car to shoot and seeing Stanley in his big kind of parka thing, regardless of the weather, by the way. And then he had a dark blazer, a blue shirt, and gray pants. And he wore that for a year. And I said, have you got 6 pairs of everything?
Really?
No. I don't know. Yeah. Maybe he had 2, but he considered dress to be of minimal importance. And
but here's a man who would import a palm tree from Vietnam or something, you know what I mean?
Well, he put it, he was absolutely brilliant on the technical side. Anything technical, Stanley was the man.
You could argue the greatest ever on that level.
Without a question. I mean, 2001 is one of the most extraordinary feats of special effects ever. And it took, science fiction on a millennium jump. Before Stanley, there was basically Flash Gordon and cardboard sets.
Yeah.
And Stanley went into the whole philosophical aspect of it and made it even though it was very antiseptic in many ways, it was also very moving and touching.
Yeah.
In a weird way. Of course, the only person really with any character was, of course, a computer. Hal.
Well, we're in that now in our AI world. I saw recently, maybe in the last 5 years, they did in Hollywood a 70 millimeter print, a film print, reissue of 2001.
Stunning. I saw it on 70 mil.
Right, and it was remarkable because a lot of those movies, the special effects date pretty bad.
Yeah,
somehow it held up.
Well, because it wasn't computer generated, it was models.
Yeah.
They were brilliantly done.
Yeah.
And he had the most amazing special effects team. Yeah. They won the Academy Award, of course. I think Stanley kept it.
Yeah. So let's talk about If, because this is a movie dear to my heart, and it certainly launched you and then sets up the Clockwork Orange jewel in the crown moment. You're doing 12th Night. I saw where you said you were playing the worst character in
Shakespeare wrote. I say that with
is that Sebastian?
Tongue in my cheek. Yes, Sebastian in 12th Night.
I was going to ask you what
one great speech.
Sure.
And right after the interval, and when they've just come out of the bar, one great speech to shut them up, and that's it.
Mm-hmm.
But, as a young actor, have never done a film, of course, to work at the Royal Court was really an achievement, because the Royal Court was where, Look Back in Anger started. It's where all the great avant-garde playwrights worked. Joe Orton, for instance.
Okay.
All of Joe Orton's was done at the Court.
Oh, I didn't know that. Okay.
The Court was the greatest avant-garde theater. And I wanted desperately to work there. Of course, I get there, and it's not avant-garde at all. It's Shakespeare, the oldest, creakiest old author of all.
But it was the whole thing where they do like a modern version of the...
It wasn't. It was only modern in the dress.
Okay.
The text was, of course, Shakespeare.
Sure.
And
how just as somebody who's done Shakespeare, how do you feel about when they do these kind of weird adaptations? Are you cool with that? Do you like it, or?
It's okay. I mean, look, there's plenty of room for everything.
Sure.
And we've seen, straight plays, this, that. That everyone's. But
I love Is it Coriolanus? I can never say it.
Coriolanus.
I love Coriolanus.
Yeah.
And there's a cool version like the BBC did that you can find. But
I think one of the coolest versions, actually, Helen Mirren did with. May have been Tony Hopkins. I'm not sure about that, but it was a while ago, of course.
Okay.
But
are you sure that wasn't when they did Tempest?
No.
Okay.
Because
there's like some weird...
no, Tony did the Tempest here in L.A. at the Mark Taper. I saw it.
Okay.
No, I went round and he went, "Oh, Jesus." I knew some being... I go, "What?" He goes, "Oh, darling, I just speeded through the thing. I just got to get out of here." And he literally did speed read it. It was fast. But, that's one way of doing it.
Yeah. No, just because this version of Coriolanus that's out there, that I think it's the only time it's ever been turned into a film that I know of.
I've never seen the film.
They do it as like a narco-terrorist thing, like South American gangs. And
well, it's like when they did, Ian McKellen did Richard III, which was absolutely brilliant, and they did it like... the Nazis party.
I've never seen that. Was it a play or was it
It is amazing, with one of the great performances from...
But is it a play or a movie?
It was a play.
Okay.
And they made a movie of it.
Oh, okay.
And it's amazing. It's really...
Oh, fantastic.
One of the greatest Shakespeare movies you'll ever see.
Right.
And is it as good as Olivier's? No. Nothing is as good as that.
Yeah.
By the way, a story...
Please.
About that, because it's kind of fun. This was told by John Mills, who was a great friend of Larry. We'll call him Larry Olivier. And he was opening, first time, in Richard III. And John Mills was organizing the party afterwards, right, after the first night. And, this is the first performance. Anyway. So John Mills thought, "I'll pop in and see you, sir, before, just make sure everything's okay. We're okay for the party." He goes in there, Olivier's like this, in front of the mirror. And he sees him and he goes, "Oh, darling, Jesus Christ, don't cancel the party. The party's off. I haven't got a clue how to play this part. This director's useless." And he's going into this whole thing. And, of course, John Mills, it's a little first night thing or whatever. "Okay, don't worry. Okay, we'll cancel." Or, "Don't worry, you'll feel better. Don't even worry about it, John Mills said he went out to watch the performance. This was Laurence Olivier spontaneously finding the character of Richard III as you watched it. You will never, ever see that ever again, because it happens in rehearsal.
Yeah.
You never see it. Not when it's found.
Yeah.
And he said it was one of the most brilliant things that he'd ever seen.
Do you know what he was struggling with?
God knows.
Oh, okay, yeah.
But, he had, he had great times when he just blocked, I mean, it's just well known that he did. And I understand that. And I used to think, there but for the grace of God, go I. Because it happened to another brilliant actor who I really liked very much. I was very fond of him. We were sort of friends, Ian Holm.
Okay.
Ian Holm was the best Henry V I ever saw. I was in it, moving furniture, and had 2 lines. And I used to watch him every performance from the wings. I'd watch Ian when he did the wooing scene with the princesses of France and all the great scenes. And I just thought, wow, it's one of the great performances. It's funny. So I hadn't seen him for a long time. And I was walking down Notting Hill Gate, and I bumped into him and I went, Ian, oh my God. And he'd known that I'd done If, I was playing tiny parts the last time. So he goes, hey, Malcolm, God, it's great to see you. Hey, well done on everything. And what are you working on? I went, I'm going, doing this thing for this guy called Stanley Kubrick. And he goes, and I saw him recoil. And I said, what's up? Did I say something? He goes, no, just be careful of him. I went, oh, why, may I ask? He said, well, that strung me along to do Napoleon for 18 months. And he goes, after 18 months, we were supposed to go and do and start. And I'd had all the fittings and all this and all that. He goes, and suddenly, not a call. I tried to call him many times. The phone was always dead. He said he didn't even have the wherewithal to pick up the phone and say, I'm sorry, I couldn't get the dough. We've had to postpone. And he just cut him off.
Wow.
And of course, having worked with him, I totally understand.
Well, the kids call these days ghosted. He got ghosted.
Oh, is that it?
Yeah, they call it ghosted. It's like when people suddenly don't return your texts anymore.
Oh, I see. That's
very
what
modern
means.
with the.
Well, I've heard it, but I never knew what it was.
It means you don't exist anymore.
Oh, wow.
In the digital world sense of the word.
Wow. Do people do that?
Oh, yeah. They do it to me.
Oh, well.
How dare they?
Why would they do it to you?
Oh, I'm sure they have good reasons. I mean, people are cruel these days in a new way.
Well, people have always been cruel, let's face it.
But I said in a new way. This is what I'm saying. They found a new way to be cruel.
Okay.
You see, when you have...
No, I get it.
You have an instant, constant attention thing with the phone, when it goes cold, it's like, it's almost unfathomable that...
You mean when there's no calls coming in?
We grew up in a time when, if you couldn't get to the payphone, well, you just dealt with it, or the payphone would be dead or something. You'd have to wait till you got home to call somebody. We got used to those lapses of time.
Yeah.
In the modern era, a minute is a long time if somebody doesn't respond.
Really? I don't respond.
What's your...
Right away. I mean, if somebody texts me, I'll look at it and chew it over. I don't even respond immediately. And I remember one guy sent me this whole thing about something he'd seen that I'd done. And he went into this whole diatribe of why he thought it was great and what I did and which was news to me.
Yeah.
Because I just did it, right? I wasn't trying to break it down. I just did it. And so at the end of it, I just sent him a thumbs up.
Yeah.
And sent it back. And he goes,
probably disappointed.
That's all I get? And I thought, well, yeah. That's all you get. I didn't ask for your comments.
I once wrote Eric Burdon of the Animals a long letter.
He's my dearest friend.
Had no idea. So hopefully
I saw him last night.
Oh, God bless him. I wrote him this long thing. Yeah. I made sure it got to him through somebody. It was probably an email, but I wrote him a long letter of appreciation. As a fellow musician, I've also covered one of his songs. And first song I ever learned how to play on guitar was "House of the Rising Sun" because I love the Animals version. And so I think
it's the greatest.
He's one of
his voice.
He's one of the most underappreciated musical artists ever.
Yes,
his influence in putting people together and all of it, including working with War and Jimmy and the whole thing. So I wrote him this long, loving thing, which was like, I just want to let you know as a fellow musician, and here's who I am, and I assume because I'd covered his music, he had some sense of who I was. And all I got back was, wow, man.
Well,
but I've been saying,
did you go, oh, that's a bit...
It was a bit much, but
from him, a wow, man. Knowing him, wow, man, that was...
like something out of San Francisco's nice. Wow, man.
Wow.
So I stayed on the positive with it. Wow, man.
Well,
but please send him my regards.
How nice we had fun, and
I hope so.
But I can tell you from him, he'll give you a bit more than a wow, man. And
would love it.
Yeah.
Love to have him sit here and or talk to him privately. I just think he's one of the most underappreciated musicians of all time. Well, at least in our modern times.
He was John Lennon's favorite singer. I can see why.
Wonder why.
And he's the Eggman. You know that.
I did not know that. So I thought I knew all my Beatles lore.
Yeah.
Let's get back to you for a second.
Yeah. Okay.
Because I think, obviously, most people run to the brightest side of the room, which is Clockwork Orange, and it's easy to talk about it.
Well, we were talking about If.
If, that's why I'm saying I want to talk about If, because I think If is just as important, because it's one of those seminal sort of moments in time that like sort of unleashes the energy that sets up all these other things. And of course, and if you tell me because you were there, Kubrick sees you in If, and basically he's like, there it is. And he just basically transplants that you and that guy into the...
And a lot of the film, by the way, was definitely inspired by Lindsay Anderson's If.
Okay, start here. How did Lindsay feel about that interpolation?
Okay, I'll tell you what happened. He saw it in New York because he was there getting the money for Oh Lucky Man.
Sure.
And so, of course, a lot of talk about Clockwork Orange, and Lindsay had heard a lot about it. And he'd also given me the key to playing the part, but that's another story. But so I got a telegram which said, "Dear Malk, saw Clockwork, not my cup of tea, but you were brilliant."
Aww.
Now, I knew that, of course, he could never say another director was brilliant.
Sure.
It would have been like pulling teeth. Also, they were so different in human terms that Lindsay was, a people person. He loved artists. He loved actors. Mm-hmm. He actually loved actors. A director that loved actors is a rare thing indeed. And sits with them and talk to them and cajole them.
I saw the thing that you did. I don't know how to quantify it. I mean, it was a documentary, but it was also kind of a one-man show talking about your relationship.
It was my love letter to him.
It's beautiful. Fantastic. I mean, I wish somebody would do that for me some days.
Yeah.
So,
well, somebody said, "Why didn't you do it for Stanley?" And I said, "Because there's nothing there, really. There's nothing poetic about Stanley."
Yeah.
I mean, yes, he's a genius if you want to talk about, lighting and microphones and all that. But on the human side, to play, that would only last 20 minutes.
Yeah. So that's kind of why I wanted to talk about If, because If is the key to this. I'm not a filmmaker, but to me, If provided Stanley Kubrick with the key of what he needed to make Clockwork Orange, why it was so successful.
Well, after he passed away, I was asked to go with Christiana, his widow, to Australia to open this museum event of Kubrick's movies and life.
Okay.
And I said, I'd be happy to do that. Of course, I'll go. And we went out together, and I saw a lot of her for the week that we were there. And I was doing, Q&A things, and I didn't really, somebody asked me how I got to be cast. And I went, I think he saw If. That was all I knew. And so Christiana said, "Oh, Malcolm, no. What happened was the film was the red hot thing in London. Everybody was talking about If. And Stanley had a projectionist on 24/7 standby, got Paramount to bring out the reels of film to watch it. and they were all there watching it at the house. She goes, "You made your first entrance." Stanley hit the intercom and said, "Relace that." I do. Let's see that again. 4 times. After the 4th time, and I'm shaving my mustache off when I've grown it in the holidays, back to college, school, this oppression, this, and Stanley looked at his wife and said, "We found our Alex."
Wow.
Yeah. She told me. I was quite moved, actually. I was like, and of course an actor would never know that, So all I got was, this director wants to meet you. And I went, "Well, I'm shooting." He goes, "Yeah, you can go in your lunch hour." I went, "Oh, well, luckily the film I was shooting was in Elstree, and he lived there, in Boreham Wood, which is quite a way outside London, on North London." And so I went to see him in my lunch hour, and he took me into a small little study that had a TV and a sofa, and that was about it. And we chatted, and I thought, wow, what an interesting guy. He had these amazingly black, intelligent eyes that were kind of mesmerizing, actually. And I told him, I'm doing this film with Brian Forbes and blah, blah, blah. He goes, "Oh, yes, I know Brian." I went, "Yeah, he's a very nice guy, and we're having fun." And so I went, "Stanley, I have actually got to be back because I'm first up after lunch." And I stood up, and he just looked at me. And I said, "Was there anything special that you wanted to see me about?" And he said, "Well, yeah. Have you heard of this book?" I went, "Which book?" And I could see him struggling. He didn't really, he was in 2 minds whether he was going to tell me what the title was. I went, "Well, what is it?" He said, "Clockwork Orange." I went, "Doesn't ring a bell." He went, "Really?" "Well, it's a real cult thing."
Yeah.
I went, "Well, I don't know. It's not my cult then. I don't know. I've never heard of it." He goes, "Well, look, here's the book. I want you to read it and call me." I went, okay, will do. I'm shooting a film, right?" He goes, "Yeah, okay." So I went, "Thank you very much. How nice to see you, blah, blah, blah." So I go back. Of course, I can't read it right away. I'm learning lines and stuff. So then I start on it and thought, God, this is a tough read. What the hell does all this mean? And I'm looking at the back and the glossary and,
Yeah.
Anyway, I struggled through the first read, and I thought, God, there's no way you can make a film. And then I thought, I better read it again. Now, the next time was a lot easier, and I thought to myself, oh, God, this is extraordinary. And I thought, I better read it one more time because he's going to grill me or something. I read it again, and I knew that it was one of the great parts. So I picked up the phone. Now, a week had gone by.
Okay.
I said, "Stanley?" He went, "Yes." I said, "It's Malcolm here. Look, I've read the book." He went, "Oh, I thought you would have called days ago." And I said, "Yes, no. It's just that I wanted to really read it very thoroughly, and I read it 3 times." He went, "Oh, well, what do you think?" I went, "Well, I think it's remarkable." And now, having heard this story from Ian Holm,
right? So you knew this then.
I said, "So, Stanley, are you offering me the part?" And
did you know it was the part? Meaning like
well, there's only one part.
Okay, but I'm just saying that you felt that, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
I said, "Are you offering me the part?" There was silence.
It's funny because, sorry to interrupt, but
yeah,
it's almost funny because like the way you're portraying, it's almost like a scene from the movie.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Well, life
imitates art. Yeah,
absolutely. So there was silence, and I thought, well, I'm going to wait this one out. And he said, yes. That low, yes. And when I got to know him, I realized that for him to say that was pulling teeth.
Yeah.
He would never say you've got the part because he'd be terrified I'd use it against him in the
negotiation.
Yeah.
It was a control
But of
freak.
course, I was a naive kid.
Yeah.
I did it for, and then he goes, he called me. I said, yes, I'll do it, but I want to meet you. Well, you'll have to come to my house. Not knowing the guy never leaves his house. I had no idea. So I lived in Kensington, Notting Hill, Kensington, at the end of a cul-de-sac. And by the time he's supposed to be there, I'm looking out of my window up the street, because I was at the very end. I see a Mercedes followed by a Land Rover, a white Land Rover. It's the one they used in the thing with the police are in it. That one drive up. And I see this guy get out. And they're looking around. I opened the door and I went, are you looking for me?
Yeah.
I went, Stanley?
Yeah.
He went, oh, yeah. He comes into I had this incredible space. He looks at it and he goes, wow, we could use the cat lady here. We could shoot it. I went, nah, not in my house. The first thing he said.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, anyway, then we talked about it a little bit, I guess, and that's how it all started, the journey. And he did, the journey with Stanley was, he did all the directing of me before we ever turned the camera.
Okay.
He got to know me, my sense of humor, my sensibilities, before we started shooting.
Yeah.
And then when we started shooting, I remember I said, what do you want me to do? I mean, we've talked about this, we've talked about that, everything else, where you're going to get these lights from Germany and where you're going to get this. I said, but I'm playing the guy.
I need more information.
Who is this guy? He goes, that's why I hired you, and walked off. I went, oh, nice. I remember saying to him once, I know why you love Peter Sellers so much, because he'd just do 4 or 5 different little things and he'd go, pick one.
Pick one, yeah.
Yeah.
I saw a reference, and I think it was in your love letter to Lindsay, this idea of the surrealist, the Dadaist, and the influence. Was that coming from you, or did I read that somewhere? But it's the idea of that there was this movement afoot of cultural subversion, and obviously that flows into Clockwork. But going back to If for a second, were you aware of this kind of movement around you?
No. Really, I'm just a very instinctive kind of actor. Was not trained. I didn't go to RADA. Oh, I went in for this funny little things at Lambda, but I never actually had a teacher, except this old lady in Liverpool who was very charming, but I went to her simply to listen to her talk about her experiences as a silent movie star.
Okay. Do you remember who it was?
Yes, Mrs. Harold Ackley.
Okay. She
had a studio in the Crane Building. Way later, 30 years later, I found myself, maybe 20 years, I found myself at a dinner party sitting next to Rita Tushingham, who I adored, and she was a big star. She'd done A Taste of Honey, and she was the what they call at the forefront of the kitchen sink movies in England in the 60s. And she was fantastic. She did, Sheila Delaney was the writer, and really amazing writer. Anyway, I was talking to Rita, and we were talking, and I said, I suppose you went to one of those posh, acting academies or something. And she went, well, if you call Mrs. Ackley. I went, what? You went to Mrs. Harold Ackley? She went, yes, you too. I went, oh my God, I've never known anyone else go to her. So we were sort of jumping up and down laughing because, of course, she didn't know She did no coaching at all, except she'd say, when you sit down, Malcolm, in the second act, you'll be sitting on the sofa, having a cup of tea. Make sure the pinky is up. And I go, thank you so much. I'll make sure the pinky is up.
Yeah. The reason I was poking around about your awareness of the influence of, this Dadaism or surrealism in the filmmaking of the time, and obviously was in counterculture with music as well.
Yeah,
is the Times oftentimes pick people, in my parlance, out of a lineup, and I feel like the Times picked you because you were the perfect embodiment of something that they were unconsciously looking for.
Yes.
Did you feel that?
I know just the look, my physical look was kind of exactly what they were waiting for. Did I feel it? No. I mean, you don't feel your face.
But I think it goes beyond that. I think it goes into your I mean, it's always hard because actors are really skilled at convincing us of something that's not real, right? That's why they're actors.
Yeah, of course.
But with you, there was always a sense, and I have a very strong memory of seeing you in Clockwork Orange when I was 10 years old. If you felt like that guy.
No.
But I'm saying to me, watching.
To you?
Yeah.
But I was acting that guy.
Right. But I'm saying is...
Of course, I loved that guy. I mean, I absolutely adored and loved Alex, without a question. And I wanted to make sure that the audience loved him.
Yeah.
And that's why the sort of liberal press kind of attacked Stanley. Well, the New York Times had this huge piece calling him a fascist.
Right.
Because he'd made this immoral man into somebody that
that immoral man was you.
Yes.
Just to illustrate the point slightly differently.
Yeah.
It's like, let's talk music for a second. Back to Eric Burdon. Okay, to me, as a musician, Eric Burdon is the real deal.
Totally and utterly.
He is the real deal.
Yeah.
Up out of the street, and he is the real deal.
Yeah.
He may not be the prettiest.
He's been playing those clubs in Newcastle when he was 14.
Right. Okay. Now, John Lennon, talented in a completely different set of ways, becomes a sort of a form of avatar. He sort of represents something of the age.
Totally.
But he's also talented enough to kind of go, oh, you want me to be this guy? Oh, you want, and that's why the Beatles, and him in particular, morph so quickly over 5-6 years.
Yeah.
The beards and the thing, and it's like, who are you?
Yeah.
Eric Burdon can't not be Eric Burdon.
No.
John Lennon, when we think of John Lennon, it's really a composite of about 15 different John Lennons.
Yeah.
And that's not to take anything away from John Lennon. You have to be very skilled.
John was
but
genius
that's
of the age, I mean.
But what I'm saying is that I feel like, and I wasn't there, I was born in 60s.
I was there, I saw them as the Silver Beatles. You know that, right?
I did not know that.
Oh.
Tell me.
Well.
I love me Beatles.
You do? Well, I'm from Liverpool, so I used to go to this club called the Gaslight, and then there was a few, the Pink Alley, the Gaslight, the Gas, as we called it.
Yeah.
The Gas. You going to the Gas tonight? Yeah, okay. Well, I'm going to the Cavern. Who's on? Oh, it's the Silver Beatles. Oh, okay.
So you saw him with Pete Best then?
Yeah. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
But so I had a girlfriend actually who took me because she said, this band are great. I went, okay.
Did you think they were great when you saw them?
Yes.
Oh.
Did I think they were going to be the greatest thing since Mozart? No, of course not.
Yeah.
Did I like them? They were very together for a little band.
Yeah.
In a tiny, the Cavern was tiny.
Yeah.
And all that.
The walls sweating.
Yes. You'd stomp. As the Liverpool stomp was, you'd hop from one foot to the other. That was the dance because there was no other room for anything else. But they did Chuck Berry and in the Liverpool way. They were amazing. The energy, and you were drawn. the stage was only this high.
Sure.
So it was like at the end, and I was drawn to John because he had a kind of dangerous curl of the lip.
Yeah.
He was dangerous.
Yeah.
Paul was beautiful and exquisite.
Yeah. So to go back to my relentless analogy.
Yeah.
You represented somehow on film that danger.
Yes.
So as someone who stood in a very rare moment of white hot zeitgeist.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, hey, how lucky was I?
Yeah. Did you feel pressure to become more of that? Did it become a typecasting thing?
No. I refused to be typecast as much as I could be.
Yeah.
So, that I can't tell you how many knockoffs of Clockwork Orange I was offered in the next 5 years.
I can only imagine.
But I just went, no, it's over.
Sorry, please finish.
No, that's it.
Had you written "Oh Lucky Man" before Clockwork Orange became a hit?
Yes.
Okay.
It was going on during the shooting of Clockwork.
Okay.
And we'd go round to see Lindsay, and the only reason that I started writing this thing was because I just wanted to get to work with Lindsay Anderson again, who I considered to be, just absolutely a genius. I mean, not that I knew any geniuses, but I'd worked with Peter Hall at the Royal Shakespeare Company and all those guys, but they weren't the real deal. They weren't. They were posers. Lindsay Anderson, this Oxford-educated man who was a very great man. It was like working for an Oxford Don. And he would be so honest and so interesting in the talks one had and about it. And, and he cajoled, I suppose, without me knowing it. And he'd say things like, crazy things, like he'd go, of course, Malcolm, you're a very Brechtian actor. And I'd say, oh, yes, well, I've been known, of course. I'm known as the Brechtian actor.
Yeah.
I go, and what does that mean? He goes, well, it means that you will let the audience know that you're acting. But you're going to make them believe you anyway. And I thought, wow, what a thing to say.
Okay, so back to me at 10 years old watching Clockwork Orange somewhere. There was a sort of connectivity there that's rare.
Yeah.
In my mind, I usually connect it more to music because music is so rooted in authenticity or the appearance of authenticity.
Yeah.
Where in Clockwork Orange, it's so out there. But somehow you represented something that felt kind of pure in the center of it.
Well, it's really because he'd put the film to the side. He couldn't find anyone to play the part, so Stanley had discarded it. And that's why he went on to Napoleon. By the way,
the famous movie he never made.
The famous movie he never made. Yeah, and so interesting. That. Well, if to me was, I mean, I was just playing small parts, went to meet this great man, and we got on very well because there was no bullshit from me. I'm from the north of England, fairly plain speaker, and like to just say what's on my mind, without being rude, of course, and we gelled. But of course, it's a long way from getting the part,
Sure.
And I don't, what happened because you saw my one-man show. So
I'm curious.
There was electricity in the air, put it that way.
Sure. Do you think Lindsay saw that zeitgeist in you? And I'm not trying to oversell it. I'm saying is like certain people.
No, he did.
Great. Please illuminate
because it came out later that he'd 98% cast that part for somebody else. And when I came in, it was a sort of end of the kind of, they were packing up for lunch, actually. And he went, and I was late. I got there and I said, I'm sorry, I'm late. But he went, okay, it's okay. I'll be happy to meet him, And he jumped up on the stage and we had this chat and he said, do you want to read it? I went, I'll be honest, I'm so bad at auditions. He goes, yes, well, you've got to work on that. I went, I know I do. You're right, because that's the first thing. Without a good audition, you're dead in the water. You don't get cast. He goes, that's right. Yeah. So, he was wonderful. But so I'll tell you, because it's an interesting that I didn't really have confidence in myself to know how to play Alex right from the first go. I've been working with Kubrick for, I think, at least 6 months.
Really? And you still didn't know?
Yes, 6 months. And I thought I knew, but when it was only a week to go and then 4 days, I suddenly went, well, you haven't got a damn thing in your locker. What the hell are you going to do? So I called Lindsay and said, Lindsay, I hate to do this to you. I know, because Lindsay he'd poo-pooed Kubrick and, an American cinema, blah, blah. And of course, I was playing them both off a little bit, saying, well, Stanley would never do that. And he'd say, oh, yes, of course, Stanley, I'm sure. And then I'd say to Stanley, Lindsay, he went to Oxford, of course. You know that, Stanley. And he goes, oh, really? Oh, yeah, what did he study? Oh, I think, the classics. oh, which is true, he did. He'd give me a whole lesson on Greek theater. The theater comes from the Greeks, Malcolm, don't you? That is where drama started. And I went, I thought it was the Egyptians. No, the Greeks.
Yeah.
Anyway, so I asked him if he would read the script. He said, bring it over. And I had to go over to his flat, give him the script. I went out while he was reading it and had a coffee, came back. And the first thing he said was, well, thank God I don't have to direct this. I mean, I know it's not your kind of thing, but look, I don't know what to do with this character. And he said, look, Malcolm, the scene in If where you open the doors to be beaten in the gymnasium when you're going in to meet the prefects. He goes, you look at them and you smile. He goes, that's how you play it. And I went, oh my God. Oh my God.
Beautiful piece of advice.
What an incredible piece of direction. What an extraordinary piece of direction. Yeah. Because that's all it took. Boom. First day, sailed through, even though it was rather painful. There's certain things happen. Boom. On the second day, I forgot all about it. I couldn't remember. And I didn't remember this until a year went by.
Yeah.
And I went, no, wait a minute. It was Lindsay.
Oh.
So you would have loved him, actually.
Lindsay.
Yeah. You would, and so entertaining. I had to do these talk shows and everything after the movie came out.
Yeah.
Usually with him. And I'd sit there like an idiot, just listening, because he was so entertaining. I mean, it was just, I've done that a couple of times. The other one who was so entertaining, I would never interrupt him, was Anthony Burgess.
Yeah.
Who was brilliant and funny, hilarious.
But it's still, at the end of the day, it took you to kind of bring those people together.
Well,
I guess what I'm after, it's a slightly...
Yeah, what are you after, Billy? Because you've gone around the bush here a bit, and I want to know what the hell you're talking about.
the image of the poster image of Clockwork Orange.
Yes.
The famous image of you.
Yes.
Right. There are few symbols per generation that sort of make the cut.
Yes.
And that's one of them.
Yes.
And I think what makes it interesting, and maybe I'm speaking as an alternative artist, because alternative artists have to kind of figure out how to go around the system that exists.
Yeah.
And maybe it's particularly American. We have traditions, but they tend to exclude people like me.
Let me just tell you very simply what that was.
Okay, please.
So there was a scene when I come back and turn lovely, lovely Ludwig van on with a tiny little cassette, and it booms. And Alex in his room has got these great speakers, and you hear. And I'm taking my boots off, and suddenly the camera comes into this, and I went in. He went, "Make some. What are you going to do?" And I went, "I don't know. Let's play the music, and I'll see." And there was a sort of an intensity, like a possession. I don't know what it was. And he was laughing so hard. He went, "Oh, that's it. That's great. Your eyes went." I went, "What? Did he?" So when we came to do the very first shot of the movie, which was a track with what's her name, lens, zoom lens. So it was tracking and zooming. So it started here.
Yeah.
And went back. And when it was there, because I've been drinking milk that was doped, I went into...
Oh, I see.
The trance. Alex's little trance, I called it. And it became the look. And then I heard, Jack did it in The Shining. It's absolutely bull, by the way. That's not what Jack did.
Never heard that story, but...
No, well... that's the Kubrick thing.
Oh, I see.
But it's not. It's not. It's just maybe there was a shot of him looking crazed, and it was similar, but it's nothing to do with it.
Sure.
And so the whole of the end, when he's possessed with the music, it's the music. The music.
Mm.
That's what it's all about.
Okay. Yeah.
And here's the great dichotomy is you've got this thug who loves classical music.
Well, my joke I always make is Hitler loved dogs.
Yeah, well, he wasn't quite as bad as Hitler. But he did love dogs, you're right. But did dogs love him?
The reason I harp on about it is, if you go across the annals of, say, the 20th century, and now we're in the 21st, there are so few people who stand at a unique crossing of history between the cultural moment and the social moment.
Yes.
And you became the face in this one particular moment, but it's so rare that it lines up like that. So in my mind,
yeah.
And it's just my own little movie that I play. There's Clockwork Orange playing on a screen somewhere, and I can see the Beatles sitting there, and John Lennon going, "I want some of that." John Bonham, the great drummer of Led Zeppelin, decided he was going to dress like a droog.
So did Davy Jones. David Bowie was, Ziggy, and all that.
Right. So I'm saying it all flows from this singular moment. We have the luxury of looking back and saying, like, I was trying to explain to my son, who's 9 years old, about Duchamp in the urinal.
Oh yeah,
is it Duchamp or I can't? The famous way it's just the urinal.
Yeah.
Somebody probably crucify me. It's not if it's not Duchamp. But my son was like, "Why would a urinal be art?" And I go, "But that was the point."
Yeah, sure.
He broke something. You can never unbreak it.
Right.
So
you're right. So
okay, thank you.
It is lightning in a bottle. It was the physical look, the psychological attitude, all came together with these extraordinary roles of absolute defiance. Mick was a pure revolutionary. A pure revolutionary.
Yeah.
Nothing to do with Alex at all.
Mm-hmm.
Mick, you know, he was actually Lindsay. He wanted to tear it down. I said...
So he finally that's what I was trying to put together. Because Lindsay voicing through you, his interest in you, and he saw something in you, voices into this other, you know, zip code with Kubrick. And the insanity of Burgess's book. And it's this weird lightning in a bottle. Yeah. And we can hold it up like a chrysalis and go, oh my God, like so much came from this thing. But what fascinates me even more is you're the living representation of that moment.
Yeah.
And I think the reason it resonates still, especially to artists like myself, is there's something in you that I understand. I don't know you, but that's kind of what I'm after. I'm sure it is. Right. Where does the acting end and the sort of this pure spirit begin?
Well, you embody it.
That's my point. That's why I belabor it. So.
It's not acted, although of course it is. As Lindsay said, you tell them you're acting, but you'll make them believe you anyway.
Yeah.
But when you're doing it, at least when I'm doing it, it's cooking. You know. I'll tell you, time stands still, and you are so in it.
Can I share something personal? If you don't?
Yes.
I had at least one of those moments in my life when we had our biggest album.
Yeah.
And so I was 30 years ago, literally now.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying you've experienced this, but because so many people continue to be interested in the zeitgeist of that moment, I find myself sitting around going, what was I thinking? And the answer is, I wasn't thinking anything at all.
No.
It was no different than any other day. So that's where it's complicated because people like me want to ask people like you, what were you thinking? You're like, I don't know. I was just...
There's no thinking. I mean, we get to work. First thing is, I got to have a tea. Is there any tea?
Before I do this unmitigated violence,
and then we're going to do, what is the scene? Oh, it's me arriving at the jail. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, he goes, well, it's not written. Oh,
it's not written. So he was doing it on the fly.
So, there's a guy here who's been to jail. Oh, okay. Hi. Nice to meet you. You're out on parole or what's going on? Yeah, no, okay. It was a while. So we've got a white line here and they're really, by the way, and we also have a genius actor, Michael Bates, who was the prison guard. I mean, he was absolutely a Joe Orton actor, if ever there was one.
Yeah.
I thought he was fantastic.
Right.
And by the way, Joe Orton, the flavor of Joe Orton is over these things. And I didn't even know Joe Orton.
Right.
I hadn't even read Entertaining Mr. Sloan or Loot or What the Butler Saw. I had no idea. But I feel more in tune with him.
I see.
About my work and to his work than anybody else, including Jimmy Cagney, who I worship, who I adore.
I collect some movie memorabilia. I just bought a late 30s, early 40s Cagney, where they would just make a thing of the star for a poster that they could put in a theater.
Oh, yeah. One sheet?
One sheet, yellow, with Cagney.
Which,
It's just a personality one.
Oh, okay. Oh,
yeah,
beautiful.
I just bought it.
Beautiful. Yeah.
I always love how Orson Welles would say Cagney's the best film actor of all time.
I think Spielberg said that.
Well, he probably stole it from Orson.
Yeah, probably. So
we'll get to Orson in a minute, but
oh yeah, I work with him.
You work with Orson?
Mm-hmm.
Well, tell me.
Well, it was a film by Sir Lou Grade. We fondly called him Sir Low Grade, but he did this film with many stars.
Yeah,
called Voyage of the.
Okay.
directed by a lovely director, Stuart Rosenberg, who had done Cool Hand Luke.
Okay.
A terrific movie, and Paul Newman, one of his great performances. And Faye Dunaway was in this, and oh God, everybody, Max von Sydow, and
great actor, you think?
Great actor,
yeah.
Absolutely, and actually a very funny man.
Really?
You had no idea he was so funny. I thought you were one of the. He goes, "Oh, they're just the films that I do, Malcolm." So we were shooting in Barcelona, and Stuart Rosenberg said to me, "Malcolm, you don't have any scenes with Orson. He's here." I went, "He's here." Orson Welles. Oh my God! So they're doing a scene with him. He goes, "Would you like to come to his suite tomorrow morning for breakfast?" I went, "Please." He said, "Because he's a fan of If." And I went, "Oh, how wonderful." So I go there, meet the great man. He's
huge.
I mean, huge. They had to build a ramp for him to get into the car. Anyway.
A true gourmand.
Yeah, so in come the waiters with silver salvers full of melon, prosciuttos, and cheeses, and eggs, and I'm thinking, God, there must be 50 people coming, all for him.
Yes. I've read that he would order 5, basically food for 5 men.
Yeah. So we had a bit of this and a bit of that, a chat, and I realized, wow, he's, of course, was brought up in the radio age.
Yeah.
And his acting is radio acting. It was really a bizarre thought that I had when I was talking to him.
Yeah.
And I was like, wow, it's really a beautiful voice.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to.
No.
Are you a fan of his like Chimes of Midnight?
Oh, of course, yeah.
It's beautiful.
Absolutely.
I think, to me, Chimes of Midnight is, everyone, of course,
Stunning.
talks about Citizen Kane,
the
but
other
I think
one.
Chimes of Midnight is just a stunning piece of work, considering how he shot it on 5 countries.
Incredible. Well, sometimes, when you're under that kind of pressure, great art will come,
Let me read you this quote from Mr. Kubrick. This is because when it all started to get kind of controversial, the movie got banned in Britain.
Yeah.
Clockwork.
Well, it didn't get banned.
Tell me, because
Kubrick was getting death threats to him and the family about making such a violent movie. He went to Scotland Yard and they said, well, just withdraw the film.
I see.
That'll stop all that. And that's what he did. Only in Britain, though.
Did the English press go crazy when that movie came out? I mean, in terms of like, this is going to inspire violence, and did they go just bonkers? Of
course, the English tabloids.
I've been the victim a few times.
Yeah.
Stanley's quote: "A social satire dealing with the question of whether behavioral psychology and psychological conditioning are dangerous new weapons for a totalitarian government to use to impose vast controls on its citizens and turn them into little more than robots."
B.F. Skinner, isn't it?
Yes. I read B.F. Skinner when I was like 12 years old.
Yeah,
and I
did
had no
you?
idea.
Wow, you're an egghead.
Namaste.
Wow. I'm impressed.
Thank you. But the reason the quote struck out to me, because it's fun to talk about old things. I like to talk about old things too. But I think it's interesting that there is a modern parallel now, because we're having this big conversation now about AI, behavioral modification through the use of social media. And
well, it's. I mean, look, I'm doing this show up in Newfoundland called Son of a Critch.
Okay.
With a wonderful producer, actor, writer, Mark Critch. And so I sent him, a friend of mine did this rhyme about, and they said to AI, they said, do a limerick about Malcolm McDowell.
Okay.
This incredible limerick came back mentioning all my movies, or 20 of them, in this incredible piece, and in 3 seconds.
Yes.
I mean, I was so, as they say, gobsmacked. I sent it to Mark in Newfoundland, and I said, "Look at this. Your days are numbered, my friend.
Yes, sir, yeah.
Writers are going to be over." He sent back another limerick about me that was even better. And I went, "Oh my God, touché."
And he wrote the limerick back?
And he did it himself.
Yeah.
And he said, no problem.
We'll be all right.
Yeah.
One other thing, I thought this was interesting. Critic Leslie Hallowell said, "A repulsive film in which intellectuals have found acres of social and political meaning, the average judgment is likely to remain that it is a pretentious and nasty rubbish for sick minds who do not mind jazzed up images and incoherent sound."
Poor man. Poor sweetheart. Darling, kiss my ass.
My last thing on Clockwork, I think it's one of the greatest movies of all time. I mean,
well, people are still talking about it and still seeing it 50 odd years later.
What I found, the reason I started this little thing here is I still see where the critical class has a hard time giving the movie its prop, which is kind of funny.
Yes, I understand that, because I think we've touched on it slightly, is that there is an immoral man who is made out to be the hero of the film. That is, by the way, never been done before in a studio movie.
But aren't we living that now?
I would have thought.
We're living people being celebrated.
Yeah, totally. And other things.
And we're having rational discussions about people doing awful things.
Yeah. I know.
Like when the moral needle moves to the point where we have to decide as a culture, a Western culture, whether or not this act of horrific violence is in essence justified.
But Hallowell wrote that in 1971.
But that's what I'm saying. Is
he probably wouldn't write that now.
No, I think as oftentimes happens when a zeitgeist happens, the old guard continues to defend the way it used to be when young people have already moved on. I mean, that's why personalizing art is the greatest mistake that people make. The famous quote was always, Picasso was a asshole.
Oh.
You've ever heard that?
I've always heard that it took Picasso 50 years to learn how to draw a straight line. And I always think that is a great quote, actually.
But the riff on Picasso as an asshole is that we have to personalize the thing that the art engenders. Whatever Clockwork, for example, using that as the topic of conversation, unleashed into the culture, is it responsible for what it pointed was coming, or is it responsible for what it engendered? And I think now, looking back, the criticism of Clockwork seemed trite compared to what followed.
Listen, it was supposed to be futuristic, but of course it wasn't.
Yeah.
I mean, because we'd seen this Pavlovian thing going on in American prisons, actually, this aversion therapy.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it wasn't futuristic at all.
Mm-hmm.
It was happening, and gangs. Well, hello, gangs have been going around. Look at West Side Story, singing about it.
Yeah,
and drugs. Hello, I mean, so we've seen all this before.
Yeah,
it's just that Burgess. Nobody really gives Burgess the credit that he honestly deserves. He's up there with Stanley Kubrick, absolutely, in what he delivered. I mean, without his stuff, well, there's nothing. I mean, Stanley wasn't really a writer anyway.
Yeah.
Even though he claims that he did the screenplay, but.
So coming off of this massive moment, the movie made gobs of money and all that type of stuff.
Yeah.
This is always my fantasy, but give me your version. You're sitting in the room with the agent. You're coming off a big movie. Like, what do you want to do? What do they want you to do?
I'll tell you that I was very aware that I would be manipulated to do things that I did not want to do. and I did refuse to do them. I was offered a movie, so much money to do a love story with an older actress. Actually, I was a great fan of hers, but the script sucked, so pass. What? All this money? How can you pass? My agents were absolutely, beside themselves. And then, came to Hollywood and met the guys running the studio, and they, were very complimentary, blah, blah, blah. But, then they offered me Lost Horizon. Lost Horizon? I'd just done Clockwork Orange. I mean, I couldn't do that. So I got straight into Oh Lucky Man, and I'm very fond of Oh Lucky Man. I love it. Alan Price's score is absolutely, completely undersold and quite brilliant. And the lyrics actually are really superb,
I'm sad to say I haven't seen it, but doing all this research on you,
Have you never seen it?
No, I want to see it now.
Oh, well, my God, if you like If, this is the follow-up.
Yeah, no, I know that now.
If you have a friend on whom you think you can rely, you are a lucky man.
Mm.
If you have a reason to live on and not to die, you are a lucky man. Teachers and scholars and something don't know it. Anyway, it's Alan. Alan did a brilliant job. It's great.
I don't want to put words in your mouth, so please correct me. But now that you're in this deeper water of success and expectation, and
darling, I'm 82.
No, not now.
I'm not. Oh, and then. Oh, fuck.
No, I find it fascinating what people do under extreme circumstances.
Let me tell you, I withdrew.
Okay, that's what I was after.
Because I knew that it would eat me up.
Personally?
Yes.
Were you not strong enough, or you just didn't want it?
I wanted it on my terms,
okay.
and I thought if I play that game, I'm dead. So
the fact that you're still...
Go back to the theater. Do a play. Go do a play, which is what I did. Do your own film with the man you really love, Lindsay, and admire. Do that. And, okay, it wasn't the success of If, still an incredible film. And today, it's fated. If is considered one of the great British films made of that. Yeah.
Well, what strikes me as a raconteur myself, I think, you made the right decision because you're still here. If a lot of people in your position,
yes,
they tend to fall off a cliff at some point because they can't sustain that.
Well, I kind of fell off the cliff, but
you fell off the cliff. But you kind of chose to fall off that cliff. Does it make sense?
Yes.
Is that fair?
Yeah, I did. So yes, it was interesting.
Just to play along with you. I mean, here's a note that I have on my note card.
Yeah.
Many actors fizzled out, but he persists. Why?
Well, because I'm English.
Is that
it? No, I'm English, and I was brought up in the theater.
Mm. So you have that.
So, listen, you always think that's your last part. Nobody's ever going to ask you again. You're lucky to be working, and I always sit on sets. And even today, to a certain extent, look around and go, oh my God, this is so much fun. Are they paying me? I am the luckiest person like you, I'm sure. I know you're a musician and you must love it.
I do.
You just don't love the travel. There's
lots of things I don't love. Okay.
Yeah. Well,
let's just have a little fun. You take this however you like, and thank you for indulging me. I do appreciate it. In 1979, you make two, around that area.
Oh, I know this story.
Well,
please.
Over here we have Caligula.
Yes.
And over here we have Time After Time.
So, I'm reading the New York Times best and worst lists. I have one film on each.
Well, I'm happy to say that I saw Time After Time when it came out in the theater with my mother.
Ah, yes.
We go to movies about, once a month. And so
finally,
I saw it when it came out.
Finally, I made a movie that my mother could go see.
Yeah. So because this is an odd period of your life. You're making this famous debauched
I did that
disaster.
I did that first. It was...
Well, if you want to start, you go dark to light.
Okay, I was called by Gore Vidal, a man who's of a certain literary reputation.
Sure.
And he says, I want to have lunch with you. I've got something I want to urgently talk to you about. I am doing my Gore Vidal's Caligula. That was the title. I went, Gore Vidal's Caligula? Okay. Where do I come in? Are you playing the bar? No, but...
This is my...
Yeah. I said, okay. Let me read it. I read it. It was awful, actually, to be honest. It wasn't great. But he promised he'd do rewrites and we'd get into it.
What'd you think of him just personally?
Oh, I thought he was entertaining beyond belief. I adored him, actually. I mean, look, I wasn't having an affair with him. And there was a big, long, there was a moat between us. But I enjoyed his company. It was lacerating who he'd go after. God almighty, you should be on the other end of it. But he was a fun guy. He'd call me up and go, Malcolm, do you have a tie? I'd go, well, I think I got one somewhere. He goes, wear it. I'll pick you up at 6 o'clock. Well, where are we? I'll pick you up at 6 o'clock. Click. 6 o'clock. Got my tie on, jacket. Comes in a cab. I get in. Where are we going? You'll see. Come up to Kensington Palace. We stop by the Friendly Bobby, pre 9/11. And he goes, yes, come on in. Her Royal Highness is waiting for you. Princess Margaret, the Queen's sister. So there we are, hanging out with Princess Margaret, who then, and we go to dinner, and she sits next to me, and she looks at me and goes, my husband tells me you've made a movie about... And I went, really? Which movie would you... Oh, there is yes, Mom, there is... I've been told to call her Mom. Yes, Mom, there is in it, but it's not about... It really is.
Sorry to laugh. It's just too good.
She goes, smoking all the time. Oh, my God. So in the middle of this, I'm going, oh, my God, this is so dreary. She's going to start talking about dogs next or horses or something. Anyway, he comes over and he goes, I think Princess M is expecting you, Malcolm, to go back tonight. And I went, Gore, I can't do it. I went, it's the Queen's sister. You don't get it. I can't. He goes, well, it would be nice. He goes, just close your eyes and think of England. And off he went. So I literally was momming, got up, walked out, got my jacket, went out into the street, called a cab, and just split. I got a call the next day going, well, where did you go? We were looking all over for you. Princess M was very disappointed. Yeah.
Did you know that Orson Welles was offered $1 million to play in Caligula? Did you know that?
To play Caligula?
No, to be in Caligula.
Wow, that would have been fabulous.
I love this.
But
quote.
Peter O'Toole, they got Peter, and they got dear
John. Did you know when you were making this thing that it was a pentultimate disaster?
No. And by the way...
I know they've recut it.
No, let me tell you.
Okay, please, yes.
It's a new film. It is amazing.
Okay, I have to see it now.
You do.
Because I saw that you endorsed this new...
I loathed Caligula. I loathed Guccione. I thought he was an evil man. I really did loathe him. He was just so horrible. The way he treated these girls, these pets, was disgusting. And it really pissed me off. But, look, I was working for him, he just put a load of in the movie, used us, the main actors, to sell it with the, all right, it's not the end of the world, all right. Of course, as far as I was concerned, I almost had a nervous breakdown because it so upset me, and I put so much into that performance.
So now that this
well, it's the movie I thought I made.
And you feel good now that you see
I
that?
feel beyond good. I feel completely vindicated. For instance, Helen's performance in the Guccione movie was 17 minutes. In this one, it's an hour.
Okay. She had the great quote, which was, "It's an unmistakable mix of art and genitals."
Yeah, that's Helen.
I mean, what a quote.
Yeah, isn't that a great quote? Yeah. Yeah.
So I am duty bound to see this new, because
I'm off to Florence with my Beckett, with my oldest, or the oldest of the three. I've got two more, but different mom. We're going to Florence, and Helen's going to join me for the first time seeing this movie.
Oh, fantastic.
And so we're going to have first time they're showing this version in Italy.
Just to give you a little bit of American feedback. So when I was a kid, we kept hearing about this movie. Now, of course, when you're a young man in America in the 1970s, any hint of is utterly fascinating.
Well, you've got Debbie Does Dallas, the green door, behind the green door.
In fact, the first time I ever saw was Debbie Does Dallas.
Yeah.
This kid was a school chum.
Yeah.
He asked me to stay over.
Oh.
And he said, they had one of those original Betamaxes, when the machine was...
Okay.
And he says, I got this. And we're in the basement, and he puts it on, and it's making noise. There's no way to turn the noise off. And I'm so mortified that we're going to get caught.
Yeah, of course.
So I said, isn't there a way to turn there was no mute button back in the day.
No.
So isn't there a way to turn off the sound? He said, well, no. And I said, well, then I can't watch it because I can't risk somebody coming down and catching us. So he said, well, there is a way. He said, if we put it on fast forward,
oh my God,
then there's no sound. So the first time I ever saw it was Debbie Does Dallas at like 1.5 times speed.
It's a bit like Charlie Chaplin.
Yes.
That's funny.
So you go out of this, this epic, this controversy.
Yes. And then time after time.
Which is such a beautiful movie.
I'm reading time after time as I'm,
somebody's getting your grade.
Whatever. And that was absolutely weird because Gore wanted me to bugger this guy.
Of course he did.
Go to this wedding, make love to the bride, and then make love to the groom.
Well, of course.
And that's Caligula because that's just the way it is, or the way it was. And so I went, Gore, I'm not comfortable, doing buggery, to be honest. He went, you're such a prude. I went, I'm a prude? Have you ever seen Clockwork Orange? I am not a prude.
I just talked to the Queen's sister. Right.
I went, Anyway, he kept on at this, and so eventually we're shooting, and it was coming up like in 2 weeks. The producer was a lovely man, Franco Rossellini, the uncle of Isabella.
Yes.
He went to New York, and he comes back, and I said, how was New York, Franco? Well, he talked to someone who'd been out of this set. There for 9 months on the set. And he goes, I had a wonderful time. I went to this place, in the meat market. It was, I went, this club. I think it was the Anvil or something. I went, oh, really? Oh.
I've heard of this.
Huh?
I've heard of this.
Yeah, oh, yeah.
Not the story, the Anvil.
Wow. Oh, you been there? So anyway, he goes to the Anvil and he goes, Ma, you wouldn't believe it. All these guys on a stage and everybody's fist in the club. I went, what? Are you serious? He goes, how do they? He goes, oh, they had things of grease and they had just, I went, oh my God. And I went, that's what I could do. Let's move it to a kitchen and I'll fist the guy. it's way better and quite amusing. And they all looked at me a bit like you did, open-mouthed. And I went, yeah, that's it. So we get to the thing. We're there, and I say, well, where's the actor? And they went, they're preparing. I went, oh, and I look over, and there he comes. This guy is coming. I said, all these people are around him like he's a heavyweight boxing champion or something. He's getting to the ring, and I'm thinking, well, who are all these people? What's going on? And they went, well, they're his family. I went, his family? Listen, I don't really want to be a fist the guy with his family watching. Can't we do something about that? And I went, wait a minute. Does the guy know what's going on? They went, not yet.
Oh.
I went, oh my God. Well, I'm going to my room. When you've sorted that out, let me know. He was a very good sport, but the one thing that really upset him was after I'd done, I, Caligula Caesar, in the name of the Senate and the people of Rome. And I had this sort of little posy of little...
Yes, I remember. So kind of a garland.
Yeah, a little garland of little roses. I plucked a rose and I popped it like a cherry on the cake. And I walked off. And after much discussion, Tinto, the director, said, Malcolm, fantastic. This is very, very good. We have a problem that, whatever his name, I've forgotten his name. Guido, whatever. Guido, he's upset. I went, oh, I know, it's upsetting. I mean, it is. And he goes, no, okay. It's the rose on his. And I went, oh my God, let's cut that. Cut it. I won't do that. I'm sorry. I apologize.
What was it about the rose that set him off?
It was just humiliating. I mean, it's bad enough, but then to crown it all, probably a wrong choice of words. But anyway.
Two things. I saw something where you were talking about when you were making Time After Time, you ended up at some point after doing location shots in San Francisco, shooting on the Warner Brothers backlot.
Yes.
And having that sense of that history.
Yes.
Can you talk a little bit about that? Because I love that stuff. And so.
Well, when they first said, you've been invited to Hollywood. I mean, do you want to go? And I went, do I want to go? Yeah. I mean, my God, yeah, please. And getting in the limo from the airport, and I'm going to the driver, well, where is Hollywood? I mean, where is it? And he goes, well, this is Beverly Hills. I went, well, it's not the kind of Hollywood I'm thinking of. He goes, well, we'll drive down Hollywood Boulevard. And I'm going, well, this is it?
Yeah.
I was just absolutely amazed how scruffy and ordinary it was. And then my minder at Warner's said, hey, Malcolm, there's a party tonight. You want to go? There'll be a lot of old movie stars. And I went, that's why I'm here. I'd love to pay my respects. I mean, it's my childhood. I mean, I'm a great fan. I don't care.
Yeah.
So we go along. And sure enough.
Your mic just popped out. The pack might have.
Oh, no.
Might have sat on a button.
Did I? What?
The button might have been pushed. I can look at the pack.
Oh, well, that won't do. Oh, this is a good moment. Keep it in.
Yeah, we'll pick. I know exactly where to pick it.
I love the whole thing of the coming in with the mic. That's very Lindsay Anderson.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
We'll keep that.
Correct, Ian?
1 second, slow.
Sure. Does it need a new battery? Okay. The aerial's loose.
Yeah, speaking of Brecht, it is.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
It's some coming on with the posters.
We're actually not even in a set. We're just...
Yeah. I love it. Yeah. Okay. I'm just going to put it down there. So what were we saying?
You you were going to a party to meet old Hollywood stars.
So I go, and there is Paulette Goddard. Wow. There she is in person.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Wasn't she married to Chaplin at some point?
Yes. Exactly. Very good. And then the minder goes, Malcolm, Gene's here. Do you want to meet him? Gene Kelly.
Okay. Oh.
And I went, I'd love to meet him.
Did he think you ruined his song? Or
Well, he cut me dead. He came over. They tapped him on the back, and he turned around, looked at me.
Did he have his toupee on?
Oh, yeah. He looked
like Gene Kelly.
He looked like Gene Kelly. He was a very handsome man. I mean, I guess he was...
Dancer's body.
Yeah. He must have been in his 60s, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah.
Anyway, he just cut me dead and walked off.
Really?
Yeah.
Didn't even say hi?
No.
Oh.
And the minder started to apologize, and I went, please don't apologize. I get it. He's pissed.
Yeah.
I don't blame him. Listen. But I hope one day he'll realize it was in homage of his greatness and the greatness of that film. And the imagery to the world was one of euphoria. When I'm doing those dastardly things, I'm euphoric. That's why it popped into my head when I did an improv. That's why.
Yeah. Last thing. It's much easier for me to interview musicians because I know how musicians think, but I don't really know how actors think.
I think it's rather similar.
Okay, please tell me.
I've always felt a great comradeship with musicians. In fact, I'm jealous of musicians to a certain extent. And my son, Beckett, is a musician.
I've heard this, yes.
And it really, I say this as sort of tongue-in-cheek, but actually it's sort of true, is that it takes you 3 minutes to make people laugh, to move them, and then make them cry. It takes me 2 hours to do the same.
Mm.
And there is something so beautiful in encapsulating in that 3 or 4 minutes, a world, a story, an emotion. It's just amazing. And it's...
No, please. So it's because I think to flip the script, the musician looks at those images on the screen, the grandeur of that. Obviously, we've tried to emulate it in music videos, but you could never get the emotional scope of a great film.
No. And that's the one thing I have over you guys. But I still I'm in awe of great performances, of great musicians. I mean, I can listen to a song and instantly cry, instantly. If I hear John Lennon.
Yeah.
I think the Plastic Ono Band, that whole album to me is like...
Oh, yeah. I mean, where he kind of came out of the scream therapy, that sort of starkness.
My God.
Right?
That was...
Mother, I never had you, but you had me, but I never had you.
Yeah. Mother. Yeah. I think it's... and then Don't Believe. Oh, my God. He goes through the litany of Don't Believe.
Oh, yeah. Don't Believe in
It's
Beatles.
so beautiful. But I think, to me, he had one of the great rock and roll voices.
Oh, did you ever read Jeff Emmerich's book about recording the Beatles?
No.
Jeff was the engineer behind George Martin.
Yeah. Is this a...
It's like in the last 10 years. I think it's called Here, There, and Everywhere.
Oh, I'll find it.
It's really beautifully written. And he's much more favorable. Jeff Emmerich is much more favorable to McCartney as a personality. McCartney was the guy who would stay late.
I know.
It was a chum and would work on his bass lines.
All that. And I love him for that. We all love Paul,
But he said what was so, and I'm using the term loosely, infuriating about Lennon was he would write a song like A Day in the Life.
Yeah.
He'd come in with a cold, bad attitude.
Yeah.
He'd sit down and sing the song 4 times and leave. And you would sit there and say, how did he just do what he did?
A fucking
genius.
He
said, and we're still listening to that, one of those 4 takes. And he in 45 minutes, there it is. And we're still listening. We're still decoding and dissecting this
But you see,
level of
there's
genius.
something about that rawness that speaks.
Yes. See, this is what I was going to end with, if you don't mind, is where we're lucky, mutually, is that front row to that magic.
Yeah.
And when it works, it's sort of like, wow.
Yeah.
And we've both been lucky in that we've stood in that magical moment. And so, and again, and people will sit and ask us into infinity what happened, and we don't really know.
Yeah.
Because like I'll tell fans sometimes, if I knew how to do it again, I would give it to you again and again and again, like a Willy Wonka machine. I would give it to you if I could. I don't.
But what makes it so incredible and indelible is the fact that you can't repeat it again and again and again.
Beautiful.
And that is the greatness of it.
Thank you, sir.
My pleasure.